Have you ever noticed how peaceful you feel on vacation? And then within 48 hours of being home, boom, there's stress, there's responsibility, there are deadlines, there's chaos. Yeah, let's talk about that. Welcome back to the MelaninWellness podcast. I'm your host, Cori, and this is the final episode of our summer mini-series, Wellness Looks Good on You, Travel, Rest, and Real Life. This series has been all about slowing down, resetting, and creating space for ourselves in a world that constantly asks for more. And honestly, this episode feels right on time. Because just like we've been talking about throughout this series, sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for your wellness is to pause. You know, I've had a lot of fun this season with these mini series that I have woven into the season, and I really hope you guys have enjoyed them too. Let me know. Sound off in the speak pipe for the show, because I'd love to know how you guys are feeling about the mini series, and if that's something that you'd like me to continue moving forward. The link for the speak pipe will be in the show notes at the end of the episode. Now let's get into today's episode. So when you are traveling, the goal of traveling isn't just to experience peace. It's to integrate it into your life, into your new wellness strategy, into your being, into your mental health. One of the things that I learned so much about traveling is how peaceful it can be, because it allows your nervous system to go offline for just a bit. It lets your brain rest from its day-to-day, because you're taking in the new sights and the new sounds around you. And if you're really leaning into the moment, you are experiencing a peace that washes over you. And that is what we want to integrate. Of course, our routines at home matter. They're important. They are the backbone of what we do each and every day. However, when you are away from those routines, allowing your body to integrate peace and knowing what that feeling feels like so that you can carry it with you, it matters. Now, I can remember a time when I took a trip, and it was for a modeling event, and I went on the trip. To be honest, the trip wasn't very relaxing to begin with. Like, it was a bit chaotic. It was supposed to be more relaxing and more fun than it was, but it actually turned into an absolute mess. Now, I had my own hotel room, so that was peaceful. That was calm. That was relaxing, and I was so grateful for that peace. But the experience itself was chaotic and stressful, and that's just something that does not fit in my life. Not then, not now. And, you know, when I returned from that trip, you know, I lost what little bit of peace that I had, because I immediately had to get back into my normal routine. As a matter of fact, I remember after I did the show did not end until about 2 a.m. And I had a flight to catch by 6. So I had to be at the airport by 4. I was so exhausted. I had to return my rental car in the middle of the night. I mean, I was worn out. And I had to catch that flight at 6 a.m. because one of my kids was running in a state track meet. And I had to be there. Okay? I just had to be there. And when I tell you, I got on that flight at 6 a.m., I was back home by about 10:30. By 11 o'clock, I was in the blazing hot sun watching him run. Like, yeah, I had about 30 minutes of sleep and an energy drink to run off of. That was madness. But now one of the things that I try to do when I return from travel is that I try to not jump straight back into the chaos. So I try to give myself at least a day to where I have the ability to just rest and settle, even if it's for a road trip, because sitting in the car for 4, 5, 6 hours or more driving, that does its own thing to your body. Your body is in this compact position, or even if you're a passenger and you're uncomfortable. And so your body needs a little bit to stretch out. Your nervous system needs to kind of come down from the trip itself, whatever took place, from the drive, the travel, the flight, however you got there. And so I try to give myself at least a day, 24 hours of resting, if at all possible, because that allows my nervous system to reset and prepare for what comes next. I also create small pieces of the trip. I try to recreate those. So I have music playlists, like you should see my media player. I have music playlists for every trip that I've ever taken, for road trips, for flights, for this location or that location. You know, those things actually help to reset and help me to remember what I've integrated from the trip into my daily life. It's an amazing feeling, because that feeling, oftentimes when I get upset or chaos starts to ensue, I can hone in on that music, and then it kind of takes me back, even if it is just temporarily. And I also ensure that the same way that I protected my energy when I was traveling, I integrate those into my daily life as well. That's one of the reasons why I shifted how I operate when it comes to social media and online platforms and emails and things of that nature. I shifted it to, okay, if something is absolutely critical and essential and requires an immediate response, versus those things that can wait just a little bit, as opposed to throwing myself right back into the chaos that I needed a vacation from in the first place. That's how I successfully maintain the calm when I get back home. I become very intentional on what I do, when I'm doing it, how I'm doing it, for how long I'm doing it, because those are part of my wellness. My nervous system remaining regulated is a part of my overall wellness. When it's dysregulated, my cortisol levels spike. I get more headaches. I get a lesser quality of sleep. My diet begins to suffer because either I don't want to eat or I'm eating out of stress. So remaining regulated is so important. And that's what travel does for me. And that's how I integrate it into my daily life and use it to help me. Pictures and videos are also something that I take a tremendous amount of, not necessarily to share on social media, but for my own memory, because reviewing those photos and videos actually take me back to those moments, back to the feelings that I had in those moments, if that makes any sense. But here's your truth moment. Peace isn't location based. It's something that you practice intentionally daily. Thank you for being here, family. Not just for this episode, but for this entire series. I'll be stepping away for a bit after this to take care of some personal transitions and to give myself the space that I need to breathe, to process, to hold on to my peace. Because everything that I talk about here on the show, I live it. The podcast will be on a short hiatus, but I'll be back, grounded and ready, as I always am. So until then, protect your peace, honor your timing, and remember that wellness looks amazing on you. Take care, family.